Welcome to another video, folks. Back on the Escort. Purpose of this video is to do front coilovers, conversions on the front struts, and get the rear leafs fitted and get the car sitting at a better ride height rather than tractor height than it was. So thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in. Please subscribe and we'll crack right into it. Alright, you then, let's make this leg look like that leg. So this is one I've done already, and what we're doing is converting them to coilovers. So you've got these coilover tubes, easy enough to do. You just cut the spring base off and slip this over and weld it in place. Now these are designed for, tape measure, for 50mm tubes, I believe, but these tubes are very slightly smaller. So there's two types of tubes you can get, like a 47mm, I think this one is, and that's a 50, but I'll show you how to overcome that and how to cut this belt, this spring seat off without damaging the underneath. So we'll go hacking at that. So the kits come generally those tubes and the tops, which you then drill out to suit your shocks, whichever you're using. Now the shock I took out of this tube was the old style one which sits in a bath of oil, and it was pretty shot. But I can use these ones which come with the other legs I bought, which I believe turned out to be Cortina legs, so I couldn't use them. But the shocks in them are good, so I'm going to repurpose those into the Escort legs because they do fit. I've checked that. So, right, let's crack on with cleaning this up, pulling it apart and showing you what I do to convert them. Okay, so we want to remove the spring. Use spring compressors for that. Never, ever, ever just undo that top nut there. You'll probably lose teeth or fingers or worse, death. So always use spring compressors and always take your time with them. Never mess about with these things. There's a lot of energy in these springs. It's all too tempting to rush this bit. It's just not worth it. And try to work side on to yourself, not pointing towards yourself, because if the worst does happen, hopefully it flies away from you and not into your face. And make sure you keep going until the spring actually comes loose, because there's still, even though it's held there, there's still a lot of tension just in the end springs there. I can see it just starting to break there now. So now you can see that is released from that. So we got movement there now, so I can safely take this top off without taking my face away. And same again, but take your time to release the tension off the springs. Super, nice and safe. Put that out of the way. Okay, next thing we'll do is pull the hob off. Of course, we're going to be welding, so we've got to keep this race nice and clean. Just straightforward electrician's tape. This helps keep everything in order, because you don't want welding spatter going on this or on this thread. Oh yeah, some junk in here. We've got to clean it out, because you'll see later we've got to clean this off and pull this off the shock, off the leg rather. Right then, let's get this shock out of here. And to do that, we need to unscrew this nut here Now these sometimes come off fairly easily, sometimes they take a bit of encouragement. So let's see how this one goes. I'm going to use our best precision tools for that. Yep, that's tight. Right, let's get some heat on it. Right, a bit of heat usually does the trick. Nope, a bit more heat. Oh hey, that was tight. Righto, we've got the worst of the oil out of in there. So what we want to do now is get this old spring cut off. I was tempting to get a slitting disc and go hacking at it down there, but in my experience, you try that and you end up going too far. And you'll see I'm leaving about 1/4 of an inch left there. We'll come back to that. There's a reason for that. So gently, as we're cutting, hopefully you can see there's nice, obviously the silver, the steel as we're cutting it through. When you get through this, that will change when we get to the layer below. He says. There we are. There we are. So hopefully there you can see where I've cut through the outer layer. You can now see the lower layer showing through those little marks there. So once you see those, stop, carry on going round. You see now with a slitting disc, that would be a little bit more difficult to see. Now the next thing is to tap this off. Lovely. Okay, so next challenge is to grind this weld that's on here down flush with the metal that's still there. And the reason for that will become apparent. When you fit these, make sure you got both your rings on and they're in the right orientation, so that ring ready to take the spring, because once you weld them on you can't get those off. And you'll see the slack on there, but it's a nice slim and snug fit over that. Possibly a little bit too snug as it happens. Gives you that just a touch more. And what we can then do is line that up with the top of there and run a bead of weld around that. And the bottom side, you'll see, just sits just above the clamp there. I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. Take a bit of steel, 1 mil thick or thereabouts, and trim off about 15 millimeters or so. And then just use this to form a ring. And that, once we've got it cleaned up, will fit underneath there. So of course what we want to do now is give this a clean up so we can get the weld on it. I can already hear the keyboards tapping away. Oh, you can't do that, it won't be strong enough. It's, your car's going to fall a bit, so you're going to die. But don't worry, I've done this before on a previous Escort. And I run that around for a good few years on the suspension like this, and had no problems whatsoever. Right, okay, so this now go back on. What I think I'll do is run that around on the wire brush on the bench. Doobie dodge, just get the gunk out of there. I shall be back. Okay, so that's nice and clean all the way around there now. Let's get your camera angle a bit better. There we go. So now we can start getting things ready and built up. So there's our plate to go on, make sure it's on the right way around. Like so, see, nice and tight there. And once we put this ring on, it'll be nice and tight for us as well. Clean it up. And that makes up that gap nicely. I'm using these to wind it up. So we don't ruin the thread. Obviously the tops of the thread's going to get ruined, so saying about these will be on for good. Make sure you get them on the right way around. But up to about there, that'd be plenty. You're not going to want to go higher than that anyway. Lovely. That's not going anywhere. That's nice and solid on there. So we'll let that cool off, clean it up and give it a bit of paint. Right then, while that one's drying, let's build this one up and see what we got. So I'm going to attempt to use these spherical bearing tops, the second-hand ones. I don't really job a lot of other ones. If they're too harsh, because I've had these on the pot before and I found them a little harsh. If I'm finding these too harsh, I'll keep these ones by and I'll use these ones. But we'll try these ones first because they're prettier. Right. Let's see, make sure that's not going to catch that spring too much. But they should be okay. Right, I'll go and tighten that up in the vise with me stillies. I'll leave these loose for now until I've got the anti-roll bar. I seem to remember we need to undo all this to get the anti-roll bar in. But there we go. At least we can get things in the right department for now. There we go, super duper. We have coilovers on the front. Right, okay, so this is the first time I've tried using this stuff. This is a water-based hammerite. Seems to have gone on quite smoothly, you can see there, but it does, I think it's going to need at least 3 coats to get decent coverage. So black paint normally goes on pretty thick and pretty easily, but it seems to be a little bit thin, although it looks thick, if that makes sense. You know, it looks gloopy enough, but it goes on quite thinly. But the advantage being water-based, it's better for your health, and you can wash a brush out with water. That's the biggest brush I could find in the garage. I thought I had a set of brushes here somewhere, but I must have used them and forgotten, so I'm going to have to take a trip to B&Q to get some decent brushes. But it's doing the job, so happy days. Well, that's the first coat on the bits and bobs. The jury's out onto how good it's going to be. And walk this way, that's setting off. Now done these as well. It hasn't brushed on particularly smoothly, but you know, it's not overly concerned about that, being it's just some suspension parts are going to be out of the way. We'll see, give it another couple of coats and see what it's like, and find out what sort of durability it's going to be like as well. My opinion on water-based hammerite paint is don't waste your money. It is blinking awful stuff. It doesn't paint on particularly well. Coverage is awful, and the finish is dreadful on it. So all in all, I don't think this stuff is worth the money. So don't bother wasting your money on it. In fact, I wish I kept the receipt. And quite worryingly, the jack handle, my Viva air jack, just pulled off, hardly welded on there at all. So that's a serious concern. Super, we are back on its wheels. Looks like something hideous from the 1970s. The back end is still jacked up because there is springs on it, but I have got lower springs to go on there, leafs. But the front end is down, and That's not a million miles off where I want the ride height to be as it happens. I don't want it stupid low. So, but just want to look tidy. And because I've been so used to the car being up high, it seems stupid low to me at the moment, but I will get used to it. Yeah, that's a fair height distance between that spring and that spring. So that's going to bring the back end down quite nicely, that is. Right, that's better. Slightly less ridiculous ride height. These are 13-inch wheels on it at the moment. I think I'm going to change these to 15s. I don't really want to go any bigger than 15s because they look a bit daft on classic cars. But I think a set of 15s on there will fill those arches nicely. I don't really want them ridiculously low because speed humps and what have you, it'll be a nightmare. But yeah, much happy with that. Right, thanks again for watching another one. So you see the car's back on its wheels now. Coilover strut's done. The shocks are temporary really because they probably could do with being short ones, because you notice at full stretch the springs are dropping out their seats, and that's no good. I don't intend to yump the car around, but still be good to have them so they don't pop out their seating just in case. But it's on its wheels. It's just a matter of being able to get it to roll around the garage now. And the lower rear springs are on as well, so the car's sitting at a better height. I think at the moment there's 1.5 inch blocks in there to drop it. I think I'll go up 2-inch blocks just to bring it down that touch a bit more. But again, I don't want to go mad with it. You'll see I'm more grubby. You've seen me in the video crawling on the floor, so I've literally just finished doing that and doing my outro. So very much appreciate you watching. Please do subscribe, please do like, please do share the videos, and let me know what you think of what I've done.